Thank you guys all for coming to this full moon. We have a Capricorn full moon that we're discussing tonight that actually took place on July 3rd. So we're going to be doing some reflecting, and it kind of makes sense because the future is super important right now. So we're going to bring our attention back to July 3rd. So basically the 4th of July. A couple days before that, and how the energy was, it happened at 4:39 a.m. So really, I feel like it happened late Tuesday night or Wednesday, depending on how you look at it. But this was a Capricorn full moon. It was a buck moon, so I didn't want to forget to mention that. And I heard someone chatting earlier about how this was a super moon, and that is absolutely correct. What that means is the moon appears larger. It is closer to our Earth than normal moons. So the impact, the potency of this moon, I don't know if anyone got a glance at even the moon right now. It's not full anymore, but it's big, it's closer. And it has like a little bit of an orangish glow, which happened on the previous full moon in Sagittarius a month ago. It was the strawberry moon. So we've got like this orangish color, this passionate, like looks kind of strange if you see the moon. So it's a super moon, you guys. What I'd like to do is talk a little bit about what full moons are. Then I'm going to move into the astrology of the sign of the moon, and we're going to talk a little bit about Capricorn, and then we'll talk about what's being illuminated. So full moons are when the sun and the moon are opposing each other in different zodiac signs, opposite zodiac. So we've got the sun that's in Cancer. Anyone having birthdays right now is a Cancer, sun at least. And the moon was directly across from that on July 3rd, completely filled with light. So we had that opposition. What does this mean? Full moons bring completions. They bring new beginnings. This has a lot to do with chapters and cycles. Every full moon is chapters and cycles, but Capricorn itself deals with chapters and cycles. So those things are extremely relevant and really potent right now. When we have full moons, usually once a month, sometimes we'll have a full moon twice a month, sometimes we'll have a new moon twice, but these energies around the time of a full moon can bring like peak climax energy where there's a lot illuminated, literally. So climax energies, emotional energy. In astrology, the moon, everybody has a moon sign. Everybody was born on a night or a morning when the moon itself was in a certain zodiac, like mine is Taurus. So it controls our soul. You know how they say the moon like associates with the ocean tide. So it's our feelings, it's our soul, it's what we hide, it's what we're afraid of. We can even learn a lot about our maternal energy, like us as mothers, our mothers. The moon is associated with that as well. So let's talk a little bit about Capricorn. In astrology, there's these 12 signs, there's 12 houses. Capricorn is the 10th house. This is also known as our midheaven in our birth chart. So we're talking career, we're talking long-term goals, the future, our achievements, our path in life. So these are all things that our emotions can be not dictated. I did hear the word dictate just now. Our emotions aren't necessarily dictated by it, but we could have some feelings in correlation with our career. These things could be illuminated right now. Full moons also bring endings. I would say new moons are more so like set intentions, plant seeds, new beginnings. Full moons kind of like bring things to a close after things are like illuminated and climaxed. So we talked about the future, our path in life, our achievements. Capricorn is also our social status. It's our public figures. So this is who we are as public figures, authority, our reputation. I wrote reputation twice, so that's not a mistake. We may have two different aspects of what we're representing, or we have two different reputations right now. Popularity, I actually didn't know this as an astrologer. I did a little bit of research with these notes last night, but the 10th house is our popularity. It's our fame, it's success. I did not know those things. So those things are also being illuminated. And what I also want to mention here, because I didn't write it in my notes, is that this is a 6-month cycle. The full moon goes in 6-month cycles. And what that means is 6 months from now in Capricorn season, so we're talking end of the year. I didn't write that down. So really tonight, we're taking notes and basically how do you want to end 2023 when there's a new moon in Capricorn. So that's what I mean by 6 months. Is 6 months ago, there was a new moon in Capricorn. We're like 6 months throughout the year, right? We've done 6 months of it. We're halfway done of the year. We have 6 more months to go. So really, how do you want to end 2023? Because 6 months from now, the things that are completing under this Capricorn moon energy are going to be very, very important. So we don't want to forget to talk about responsibility. When I think Capricorn energy, it's like serious structure. Like even some astrologers are kind of intimidated, for lack of a better word, when it comes to like Capricorn, because it's a non-bullshit energy. You get what you work for, right? And we can't really lie about that. If you put the hard work in, you're going to get that back, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So responsibility, serious demeanor, serious structure. It's like militant energy, like grandfather, father energy. Also, our boundaries, certain restrictions with this energy, limitation, and hard work. That is literally all things associated with the 10th house in astrology, associated with Capricorn energy. We all have that somewhere in our chart, so we're all going to be affected differently by this. And then we also have elements. We have different elements in astrology, 4 of them. So we have water, earth, air, and fire. This one is an earth one, and it's a cardinal earth, similar to Taurus, similar to Virgo. When the moon is in an earth sign, we have this ability to ground ourselves emotionally. We have to take responsibility for our emotions. So there is like this serious undertone right now where we might have a lot of feelings, especially around 4th of July. The first few days of July, there were certain feelings coming up within ourselves or within other people. But we oddly had this ability to like not lose our shit. Whereas if the moon was in a different sign, it might have affected us differently. But we kind of had like this like boundary protecting us this time. So cardinal earth, grounded, planned action. Whenever we're dealing with cardinal signs like Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, these energies compel us to take action. But in this case, it's grounded planning action. So 10 years from now, 10 years ago, Cancer rules the past, Capricorn rules the future. So there's definitely some things going on with those elements, but really we're going to come up with like a new plan. This is leader energy. Capricorn is very much a leader. And then also patience, persistence, and consistency is what I have here. And I added this very last. Before we talk about what's being illuminated, contracts. Contracts are very important right now. Capricorn is a contract. So I have this like metaphor right now since this full moon. So you know like terms and conditions that things have, like whenever you download an app or whenever you have to sign terms and conditions. Because of this full moon, it's like the metaphorical terms and conditions of our life have expired. So it is our responsibility to get very, very clear about the terms and conditions we have as individuals moving forward, whether this is job, family, relationship. What are your terms and conditions moving forward? Basically, what are your standards? What is it going to require to be in your present simply? Or are you the type of person that just doesn't really think that deeply about things? You just let anybody come around you? Do you just... Because what we have to realize is when we meet people or when we talk to people, text people, when we associate ourselves with people, places, and things, that is an energetic contract that we're agreeing. You know, we're walking around, and the government comes up a lot with the 10th house and a lot of things being illuminated there. A lot of us are in contracts and we don't even really realize it. So this would be a great time to end contracts with people, even contracts you may not be subconsciously aware of. So that's what I'm going to personally do, is literally write down like new terms and conditions. Like, what do I want out of my friendships? What do I want out of my career? What do I want out of my job? What do I want out of my family, where I live? All these different areas of life. Get very serious about, and it's probably going to be things like respect. Like, it's not going to be these crazy things. Like, you need to respect me if you're in my life. You need to be kind if you're in my life. You need to have goals if you're in my life. And then the opposite of that would be like, what are you not going to accept? Laziness, lies, deception, whatever that is. Get very clear about what it requires for you as a person to be around other people, places, and things, for you to associate with these things. And I wrote that last. It came to me today, not last night, but I can't believe I almost forgot, like the contracts. So there's contracts that are over. Whatever that might mean for you, the things you agreed to 10 years ago, the things you agreed to 6 months ago, are no longer your responsibility. So I want to end here with just what's being illuminated. Every full moon, I take the sign, because that's the sign it's happening in. And then with the moon being filled with light, like a dark room that all of a sudden has a light on, and now you can see things. Now you can see things about people. You can see things about your job. So what's being illuminated? What would Capricorn illuminate? If you just gave Capricorn a light, what are some of the things that they would make you see? Lessons learned. All of us here tonight, all of us listening afterwards, have learned a significant amount of lessons just because of this full moon. Like we've just learned, a chapter and a cycle is over. Goals achieved. All of us here tonight, all of us listening, have at least 10 goals. That sounds like a lot, but if you sat down, there's at least 10 things that you've achieved in the past 10 years. There's at least 10 things that you've achieved in the past 6 months, even if that's getting up every day. You know, if it's something simple like that. Also, hard work is going to be rewarded, you guys. Capricorn is one of those signs that loves hard work and responsibility and consistency. So the hard work that we've put in over the past 6 months is going to be rewarded by December, by January, when there's a new moon in Capricorn. We will really reap these rewards, but we can see this as soon as the next 2 weeks because we do have a Cancer new moon around the 18th this month. So when we go from full moon to new moon, that 2-week period, we will start to see some of these energies come to play. So we also have, aside from goals achieved and hard work rewarded, we have endings to unnecessary responsibility, which I love because Capricorn is also, you know, we talk about the darkness of a certain sign when the moon is in a sign. The moon is dark. It's not bad, but it's what's hidden. It's what's a mystery. It's what we feel. It's what we're hiding. It's a secret. So when we have the moon filled with light, there's going to, in Capricorn, there's going to be certain things that are unnecessarily responsible for that are ended. So what I was going to say respectfully to the Capricorn energy is Capricorn knows how to do things. So they take on more responsibility than what they need to sometimes. Like they're the head CEO energetically. Not that they're better than anybody, but you know, they're the mountain goat. Everybody is represented by like an animal or an item. Capricorns are the sea goat actually, but they're the mountain goat. Goats literally know how to climb very steep mountains. I don't know if anyone's ever seen like pictures where goats are like somehow balanced on the side of that mountain. And that's why we talk about obstacles and mountains that we're overcoming. There is nothing in the way of Capricorn that they can't exceed because of, they make it a goal. Like, I'm going to get over this mountain. I'm going to get over this relationship. I'm going to make this my credit score. I'm going to make this a number. Like whatever goal that we have under this Capricorn energy, we're going to be able to tackle it the same way as a goat on the side of the mountain. So ending unnecessary responsibilities is important to mention because it's a full moon in Capricorn, not a new moon. In 6 months, we'll have new responsibilities. This is about ending responsibility that it's like other people's problems. It's other people's baggage. It's not to be mean, but there's just certain things that all of us here tonight and all of us listening, it's not really our responsibility. This could be financial. Capricorns deal a lot with finances. It could be just things around the house. Like it could be metaphorical. This could definitely be emotional burden. You feel like you're responsible for this, but really it's not yours. You took it on 6 months ago because you did it. You were able to. And it's like that metaphor of just because you can carry it doesn't mean you should or that you deserve to. So we're really going to lighten our load here. Also, taking emotions and feelings very seriously. That's not always a vibe, but when the moon's in Capricorn, it is a vibe because people's feelings and emotions can get in the way of your plans. Your feelings and your emotions can get in the way of your goals and where you're going. So this is going to be highlighted on other people's emotions and feelings. It's taken very seriously right now, very serious demeanor. And also with that comes like this strange sensation of emotional maturity, whereas under different moons or maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, maybe we weren't as mature as we are, but we went through a journey. We've been made to feel things, some of us very painful things. So really we're sitting here tonight way more mature than what we once were. We have an extreme amount of emotional maturity. So you guys might realize that, like with your feelings moving forward, you're handling it in a more mature way instead of just kind of feeling it like Cancer would or just kind of sitting and playing victim. What are you going to do about your feelings? There's a plan. The way you feel right now, you can kind of come up with a new plan moving forward of how not to feel that way or ever again in the future. Also, I don't want to forget to mention karma because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of karma. So there's also this energy of, and what is karma? Karma is not this scary thing, like you're going to get your karma, karma's a bitch. Karma is your energy returning to you. Mm-hmm. So whether that is good or bad energy, it literally belongs to you. So I'm open to any karma because it's mine. It's going to look like me. It's a part of me. So whether that's good, bad, neither, or neutral, that's coming back around. And you might play a bigger role in other people's karma than what you realize. And with that being said, Time management. Capricorn, being ruled by Saturn, is extremely precise about time. Time is an illusion, yes, but we have it as structure. Capricorn is all about structure, so like being on time. But there is this energy in the universe where like time is weird right now. I think it's because Saturn is retrograde. So Saturn itself is not moving forward in orbit. So things are kind of happening in divine timing, like right when they're meant to. But it is important that we're managing our time because we really don't have as much of it as we think. We have all these responsibilities and places to go. I got to be here at 6. I got to be here at 7:30. So if you're late for something, it's all right. But you might notice like your stress level or your keenness or ability to be on time like might change in some way. Just pay attention to that, just time and managing that better. It's not necessarily about, oh, let me get there at 6 o'clock. It's more so, how do I do this, and this all in one day? And even if you're late, it's the fact that you actually were able to achieve all those things. Like, how did I wash the laundry and go to work and make it to that birthday party? Like, how did I do that? Capricorn energy helps with that, time management. And then also I've got just a couple more bullet points here, and then we'll talk about the moonology. The future is going to become much more clear, which I find interesting because it hasn't happened yet. And some of us, most of us, we don't know the future, right? We might know what our plan is. We might know what we want to do. We might have goals, but we can't see it. But when we deal with Capricorn, the future, and the full moon, which is filled with light, that means that there is illumination to the future. So we actually are becoming a lot more clear about what the future holds, or at least what we would want it to. And the past is a mystery because of the new moon in Cancer. Past is a mystery. The future is actually more clear. And then there's that quote where it's like, why would you look back if you're not going that direction? Literally that. And then the last thing I have here is knowing how to accomplish our goals. Whereas before it's like, man, I really want to make this much money, or I really want this type of house, or I really want this type of relationship. We all have so many different goals. We're literally all different people. So when you think about the goal or goals, plural, that you want to achieve, instead of just thinking about that or like desiring that, Capricorn is going to give you the ability to accomplish it. Like all of a sudden, there's going to be people, places, and things that enter your life that is like, hey, my aunt owns a condo. And it's like, well, I've always wanted to go to Tennessee. So lines are going to start getting drawn to where it's like, holy shit, I could actually go there. I could actually do that. This is no longer a plan. It's a reality. And that's the earth energy of making things a tangible, accessible, like feelable, achievable. It's going to become real. So it's not necessarily just feelings anymore, you guys. Like there is a way, and in the next 2 weeks, you might be very surprised, especially by the end of the year. Some of us are going to be exactly where we've always achieved to be, and that's overwhelming. It's a lot of responsibility, but what I can tell you is that it's going to be your responsibility, not your cousin's responsibility, not your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend or partner or friend or whoever it might be. Moving through this energy, we are our responsibility. Your main responsibility should be yourself and your feelings, your maturity, and being a better person than what you were before. So that's the notes that I had for the full moon, and we're going to move to the moonology now. About the moonology, this is just like a deck that I have at home, like Michael was talking about. So it has every full moon, it has like waxing cards. So I just pulled the full moon and Capricorn card out, but I also wanted to bring the super moon card as well. So it says emotions are running high. So there's not really a better sign for a super moon to happen in, because even though emotions are like super high, we have this weird like determination. I'm not sure why that word hasn't come out yet, but there's like this weird like protection thing. Like, yeah, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of feelings, but we're kind of like unfazed by it, for lack of a better word. It might not feel like that because there are a lot of emotions. I don't want to downplay this because I have Capricorn energy too. That's like no big deal, like whatever. So there are lots of emotions, but we have the ability to see past them right now because of this full moon. So emotions are running high, and the end of a tough cycle approaches. So those were my notes, but this book here has like a little chapter that I'm going to read, and it's going to tie together anything that I wasn't able to hit on. So this reading says, how hard are you willing to work for what you want? This card is reminding you that effort is required. Work issues may be about to come to a head, when this card comes up. If you're wondering if you should stay in your job or leave, this card could be a strong sign to make an exit, and not just work, anything in life. The end of a rough time is in forecast. This card also asks you to consider how ambitious you are and whether you're prepared to pull out all the stops to make your professional dreams come true without being ruthless. With a love question, this card can be a call to face reality. So when it comes to love, this could be like, okay, you need to face the reality of whatever this is. In whatever situation you're asking about tonight, making a plan will help. If your personal life is troubled, prioritize more. It says, release control and trust the universe. A professional project may be ending now. Admit it if you have been overly hard-headed or hard-nosed, or like stubborn, for lack of a better word. Find balance between your personal and private life. It's time to stop fearing the worst. The full moon in Capricorn has a very strong work ethic and energy, and will more than likely come up when you're asking about a professional question. If your question is about another matter, it will serve as a much needed reminder to move through any feelings of hopelessness that you may have, and also any situation. This applies no matter what when you draw this card. Making a plan is far better. It's a far better use of your time. Okay, so let's get into the tarot, you guys. So I've been doing tarot since like 2017. I've got a personal relationship with these cards. There's 78 of them. Every zodiac sign has a ruling tarot card. And Capricorn energy I sat with last night to just shuffle my cards. So for me as a reader, whenever I'm doing like personal readings or readings for a certain zodiac sign, I like to shuffle until I find the card that associates. So we're looking for Capricorn, right? Capricorn is ruled by the Devil card, which is one of the most mysterious, misunderstood cards. So we are going to have to talk a little bit about this Devil card energy. It is associated with Capricorn, but it's also associated with our shadow side. Some of us like to blame this figure under the ground that's on fire, that we're damned. You know, like, I have a very interesting perception of the devil and of God. I feel like it's consciousness levels. I don't see the devil as some demon. And in many cases, it would be a lot easier if that's what the devil truly was. But it's you, it's me, it's anything. Tarot helped me realize that. It's anything that is keeping you bound, that you're not using your own free will to release from. So this could be a person, a place, a thing. It's addiction, it's codependency. So in this card, it's sometimes a little hard to see in the far back, but it's very Adam and Eve, metaphorically. It looks like the Lover's card, which is like the light aspect of this card. And the differences in the Lover's card and the Devil card is the figure in between that is connecting these two people, and the chains. And you guys can look later if you would like, but in this card there are two naked and vulnerable people, one that's represented by masculine, one that's represented by feminine. So they're vulnerable and they've grown horns now they're starting to look a little bit like this toxic figure. So what that means is the codependent things in our life, the toxicity, whether these are habits, just, I like to sum it up as anything that we are stuck in that we kind of want away from, but we really are keeping ourselves there. It's not cool to blame exterior things, because I believe in mirrors. So our addictions, lust, anything like that, is we can find ourselves within it. And if we do that, that's the quickest way to release from it. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. But when I was shuffling last night and just waiting for a certain card to show up, I was looking for the Devil card. I kind of just was sitting there like, okay, this moon happened on July 3rd. Let's take it back. I'm going to wait for this Devil card. What are the messages? So this is a collective reading. I have people listening later to recordings, and even those that are listening later that aren't present here tonight, there's something here for all of us. Some of you may find that this is a very personal reading. So when I was shuffling, I had these three cards fall out, and that's the only reason I found the Devil card. Is I was shuffling, waiting patiently, three cards fell out, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I looked, and the Devil card was there. So I'm like, all right, so the messages are aligned, but I didn't want to forget that this is just some kind of message and foresight, literally. So we're going to talk about this since it fell out. And then we're going to talk about basically what I did was there's some kind of a message in these cards already. And the intention is, what are the messages through the cards that I know and like the messages and stuff, what this full moon like has, like the impact, the themes, the advice, clarity, whatever it might be. But there's some kind of a message here. You know, we talked a little bit about Capricorn and how it's future. And I have the future card here, which is the 3 of Wands. When that card comes out, it talks about foresight, the next 3 weeks, the next 3 months, maybe even 3 years. This looks like 3 days to me, though, because we're talking about the immediate energy here. And then when I start getting all the cards, it could be talking about any time under the universe. But what I see here, I see in the future, this Capricorn full moon in foresight, first of all, a lot of us are waiting for something to arrive. This may be something in the distance, person, place, or thing. 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 days. It's different for everyone. It could be 3 hours. I actually have never heard that until just now. So 3 hours from now, when we're all home and when we're not here. But what I'm seeing in a nutshell is stability. We have earth energy here. That's that Capricorn energy. Some of us may be single in 3 days, 3 hours, 3 months, 3 years. And it doesn't have to be single. I'm talking about this card right here, the 9 of Pentacles. There's just stability up ahead. 3 months from now, we're going to be a lot more like fruitful and stable than what we may see ourselves as. And then I haven't talked about this card yet, the 5 of Swords. So there are arguments. You know, it's interesting as we vibrate higher, as we rise into these higher versions of ourselves and awaken, that people who aren't coming with us, people who aren't aligned with us anymore, because like all of a sudden we've changed, right? But like Bob and Jane may not have changed. Boyfriend, girlfriend may not have changed. The people that haven't changed, we're going to mentally conflict with them. You know, so choose your battles wisely. Don't let it detour your stability. So I basically see stability and mental conflict up ahead. They're going hand in hand for some reason. Some of us need $90. Some of us need $900 for something. Some of us need $9,000 for something. And I don't want to forget to mention that with the 9 of Pentacles, it's a gilded cage type of situation. We have a woman here in a garden that she planted by herself and for herself. There's a vineyard here, which is metaphorical for abundance and growth. But if we were to zoom out of this tarot card far back, I mean, she's got a bird and everything like that, but there's actually a fence around her, which is boundaries, right? Capricorn is boundaries. So is that fence there to keep her in or to keep other people out? And recently, the way I describe this is like the 9 of Pentacles. For those of you who don't know what a gilded cage is, it's a comfortable prison. So yeah, it's comfortable here at this job, at this home, in this relationship. But if there's a locked door, it's a prison. And then what it is it's living in luxury without freedom. Capricorn is not a sign that is associated with freedom. The sign right behind Capricorn is associated with freedom, which is Sagittarius. So once we grow up and kind of move on from that, like last month around, I feel it was like June 3rd or 4th or 5th, we had a Sagittarius full moon. Maybe we felt a little bit more free, spontaneous, wild-spirited. And then there's a vibe shift as we shift from that Capricorn, that Sag-Capricorn cusp of prophecy, I believe. There's all this seriousness energy. So living in luxury without freedom. Some of us may not feel free because we're bogged down by our responsibilities. We're bogged down by people, places, and things. There's 3 people in this card. I see 3 twice. So that could be third parties. There's 2 people in the background here that feel that they don't have the ability to make a decision. Like narcissistic energy, mental conflict. But what as your tarot reader, so I'll feel certain things as your tarot reader, and it's just important metaphors and omens. So I'm kind of ignoring this card. I don't really want to talk about this card for some reason. So some of us are ignoring conflict in our life, mental conflict, because there's other conflict cards. I'm seeing mental, so that's argumentative energy, mental, cloudy, like a storm happening in your head, like your brain is a tornado. Your thoughts have thoughts, and maybe this is lingering Gemini season energy from a month ago because we're in Cancer now. Some of us are mentally conflicted about how to be comfortable and free at the same time. And that's all fun and games, but the next 3 weeks, there's definitely going to be some kind of a narrative being played like that. Like the more stable you become, the more you're arguing with this person because your goals aren't the same, or because what makes them comfortable doesn't make you comfortable. So there is this energy of having to like really focus on you and where you're going and how you're stable enough. You're ready. You're responsible enough. But there's like this immature energy or person or factor and they're going to argue. There's so many more meanings to this 5 of Swords that I see, but when I keep looking at it, I just get argue. So that's going to be a strong indication of who is not going to your stable place with you in the future. And those cards like fell out. So that's literally a message that might not resonate right now, because I have a card that represents foresight. So some of y'all saw this coming. Some of you saw this stability coming, and you knew that you were going to have to argue or cause mental conflict or deal with mental conflict. But I'm not, even as your tarot reader, that has not arrived yet. Let's go ahead and get with this Devil card and the energies. I'm just going to pull like 5 or 6 because they're just aligned. There's a story being told in the cards, and then we'll get into all the bowls. So we talked about the Devil. We talked about codependency and lust, addiction, anything that we're stuck in that we're not using our free will to release ourselves from. So it's really you. It's your shadow side, right? It's showing you something about a dark side of you. So the card right behind this full moon is the Knight of Cups, a very sweet energy of love and romance. Like, we don't want to forget that. This is emotion. So here's that Cancer energy I was talking about, the opposite of Capricorn, the feelings, the maternal energy, right? So this is literally a love message. Love wants to move forward when it's on a horse. So some of us, we have this quest for like charming, poetic energy, a softer nature. Like, we literally have love messages coming in, whether you're single, married. Listen, there's a love message coming in here. Feelings moving forward. This is like poetic. If it's not love for all of us, but as your tarot reader, I feel like this is literally like a love offer to someone. So you may be offering love, or someone may be offering love to you. I don't know how we're all gonna, maybe both, you know, but I do see love, and that's super surprising. As your tarot reader, I did not expect something. So I thought like earth and like, let's get a career. I was ready to talk about that kind of stuff tonight, but it's love. It's a more subtle, like soft, sweet energy. So maybe some of us need to like soften up a little bit and focus on love. And maybe it's been a while since we did something creative. Maybe it's been a while since we've expressed our emotion. We cannot forget about the opposite aspect of this full moon, Cancer. So we have all people. Right away, we have 3 people that are important, no matter what their zodiac sign is. But we have these court cards coming out. So the Knight of Cups is a person on a horse with a cup. Hey, I have this feeling. I have this offer, whether it's romantic or just something you're really passionate about, or I should say compassionate about, because passion is fire and this is water. So now we have air, okay? This Queen of Swords woman. Gender isn't like a super thing in tarot. It's energy. We all have like masculine and feminine. I do see a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius individual. It doesn't matter if it's male or female, Gemini, we all have these energies, but this is, some of us are like super detached. I see communication though from an ex, because the Queen of Swords to me, she's an ex-wife, ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, whatever it is, or someone from your past. We need clarity. This Queen of Swords, some of us, because I'm starting to feel confused as your tarot reader. And remember, we had that like mental conflict over here with, you know, being single, being content on our own, being self-sufficient, and the conflict that we're going to have to go through mentally. Some of us, this communication is going to involve like very detached decision making. This is someone that we've cut off, or that we've like kind of, maybe they were cold and cut us off, but I just see a very like cold cut energy. Some people say the Queen of Swords is like kind of bitchy, but really she just says what she means and means what she says. So some of us are going to move forward. It's like, I have no idea how we're balancing this both at the same time, like this Pisces Aquarius energy, this loving spiritual energy with nope, just facts and logic. You know, like some of us are really trying to detach emotionally, but what I feel is that we have a strong balance between mental, logic, clarity, intellect. She's kind of cold. The Queen of Swords doesn't really care about that glass of wine that you're offering her. She wants to know what the facts are. She wants to have a very mature, almost like a lawyer, doctor, like energy, like non-bullshit energy. She cuts through that conflict. So some of us like really want to know the truth right now about how we feel and how other people feel. And then moving even further, now things are going to start making more sense because I see this earth here. But we have the Page of Cups to discuss first, which is very similar to this Knight of Cups. But we see an elevation in maturity, actually we see a decrease in maturity because the Knight, it goes Page, Knight, King, and Queen. So I say small, medium, and large. This is a medium love offer, and that was first. That's the most powerful energy because it's right behind the Capricorn full moon. So in what ways was love moving forward, but then you detached from it and detached enough to allow this person in? Because some of us have literally, like, if I was just given a personal reading right now, I would say that this could very well be the same person. It's very strong Pisces energy in our birth charts. I see Pisces Aquarius cusp, which is February 17th to the 25th. So Valentine's Day, whoever you spent that with or whatever, I'm not sure what's going on, but we have literally, okay, we have two people with emotion, two love offers. I did not expect to talk about this tonight, but listen, there's some kind of person in the middle of that, and it might not be a person, it might just be your mind. So there's love and love. I have these feelings, I have these two feelings, but the truth ain't aligning with it. So basically there's someone telling you something they feel, this person's telling you how you feel, but the truth is missing from it. Y'all ain't communicating. Like, we have these feelings for each other, but there's truth and fact in the middle of it, checking it. Because it doesn't matter how these two people feel, or how you and this other person feels, or how you and these two other, because some of us have two new love crushes. They may not have arrived yet. Wait until that Cancer new moon. Wait until the end of December if you have to. I just read the cards, and I don't want to talk about this. Like, it's not cool. Like, so we don't want this love right now, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. This wasn't a part of the plan. Some of us see it as downright gross, because, like, we're literally just detached doing this paperwork and adding numbers up, and it's like we literally have love on either side. Like, there's both these sides. Like, like, someone's really attracted to the fact that you're intelligent. They're really attracted to the fact that you're smart. But you're really, some of us are turning our back on a love that was moving forward, and we're literally more interested in this new person. This is also a child. We're going to see synchronicities in songs. Some of us, there's synchronicities with songs, like a lyric, like someone, you're listening to this song, and then you hear that song or something like that. Poetry, synchronicities, also deep conversation. So now I'm starting to harness the energy. I was kind of confused. So this is something that's going to confuse us at first. And then if we wait and not give up and kind of work our way through it, let the universe bring us these facts. Let people get bold enough to communicate after Mercury enters Leo around like July 18th. Mercury is going to enter Leo. We're going to get more bold with communicating. So there's certain facts, and we need to have deep conversation. Some of us need to turn our back on a love that really it had a horse. It was in movement. It was a quest for love. But there's this new person, and they have a fish in their cup, though. We're more in sync with this other person. You can't ignore the synchronicities. They say something, and you were thinking it. Or someone else said something to you a couple days ago, and then a person that had no idea that you know, and then they're saying it. Like, you know how those synchronicities can be in the universe. But I see this as being mentally open to have a deep conversation, but we're safe with it. Or that's the advice, is that we should definitely keep our mind intact, because emotionally, listen, we're in Cancer season. That's one of the most, I'll say, it can be a manipulative energy. Cancer is ruled by the moon. You know, we don't understand much about the moon. It's kind of confusing. It's a secret for a reason. So truth right now is kind of hard. Like, it's no longer Gemini season. Now we're being led by a place of emotion with Cancer season. And don't trust everything that people say, right? Like, they got to be showing you with their actions. They have to prove it to you. Because if you run with your feelings right now and you just go with all these crushes and options, it might detach you from like your mental understanding of things. Like, it might confuse you, and maybe that's a part of the journey. But I just see a deep conversation, and I just keep being brought back to the fact that this person is not necessarily being swayed. Like, they have a sword when this other person has a cup. So you have a lot to say to a person who has a lot of feelings. And I don't like this. It's very confusing. It'll make more sense in a couple weeks. This is going to happen when you feel a little bit more stable and you have an argument with someone else. But it leaves room for two romances to come in. But one that you've detached from, and you don't even see this other person anymore. Now you're starting to think about this very new love offer. It's small or whatever, but it's the start. It's a crush. It's coy. It's very subtle and sweet. But you're curious about what's in it. Even though it's not moving as fast or as sturdy as the other one was, but you know what's in that cup. You've experienced it. This new thing is enticing, but not enough for you to let your guard down. I'm like proud, honestly, as a bystander. I'm proud of whoever follows this protocol, because it's like, I'll hear you out. It's that kind of energy. Like, oh, I really love you. Like, I want to get together and like have this. Okay, I hear you. Like, okay, but you're doing it as a Queen of Swords though. Like, what about what this person is saying or doing or expressing makes sense though? Because someone could tell you 8 + 9 is 3, and it's like, Maybe in some universes it is, but like let's like prove it though. Like let's see what you're really talking about. So this is definitely happening in July. Like hopefully this starts to harness a more of logical energy, because we have the Pentacles now. That is Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So this is about our harvest. I'm feeling like October's energy. I'm feeling like fall energy. The next equinox we have in September, like Libra season. This could be a week from now. Like if you re-listen to the recording I'm making right now in a week from now, so it's July 7th. Boom, July 14th, re-listen to this, because I see 7 of Pentacles. That could be $700, $70. But to me, it's about taking a step back and reevaluating what you've put into a situation. Is it fair? Because it's a farmer. So I always think of a farmer when I see this card. Like if you spent 7 hours planting seeds and then months later none of them sprout, are you gonna do that same thing? Like you spent $700 on this or $70 on this. So that's a metaphor for not continuing to do the same amount of energy, effort, and work that you've put in, emotional effort. These are things we value. It doesn't have to be earth and money, but for some of us it is. So it's time to take a step back, especially from these new feelings that we're going to have around the new moon in Cancer on July 18th. So I've heard the 14th, the 18th. So, a couple weeks from now, a week from now. So we've got a week and 2 weeks and maybe even the end of July. But the main message here is, are you in debt or profit with people? Right? Like, have you wasted your time, or has time well paid off? And it's not just with love, even though it is very much here. So are you in debt or in profit, right? Like, are you going to continue to put in even more work and move on to the 8 of Pentacles? Or are you going back to the drawing board like, I'm getting a little short-handed. I put 7 hours into this and I'm only getting this much money or this much effort. Or I really try to talk to this person and express love and emotion to them, and I don't really get anything back. So it's going to be different for all of us, but I do see, as your tarot reader, that it's time to take a step back and harvest and reevaluate and almost wait and be patient, because the real thing here is, metaphorically, whether it's love, whatever it might be, guys, think of it as a bush. And I'll tell you right now, when this card comes up, something has grown to full potential. Whether there's roses or whether there's just a bare bush that has no fruit on it. That's what it is. So if you're looking at a job, it's a bush right now. Is it bare or is it fruitful? Right? Because we're thinking about this garden energy, and you already have your own garden. You already have your own abundance. All of us here tonight are actually really freaking stable. Like, we're all really handling our responsibilities well, but there's these external factors, people, places, and things that aren't measuring up. So that's what Capricorn wants us to do. And it's like, Cancer is like one of the only signs that can kind of debunk Capricorn, like your father, your mother, the past, the future. So we have these like oppositions going on here, and it's like it's throwing this Capricorn full moon for a loop, that there's feelings in love with Cancer, the Cancer energy. And then we're going to move on here. So we know that we're harvesting something. We know that there's some kind of love or something waiting, or something like that going on. And now we're moving into fire, and I'm going to stop here soon because I only want to pull a few, because it's just like a brief little message here. We have the 9 of Wands, which is someone who's been through a lot. Someone who has fought 9 battles, perhaps in the last week alone. Like, someone here is a true freaking warrior. Someone here is on guard, and it's time. We have to protect our territory. We can't give up. We have to keep persevering, is the message behind this full moon. Wait and persevere. There's investments here emotionally that we've made with people that are just detached and narcissistic and barely communicate with us. What they say and what they do don't match up, which is straight up manipulation. So we're taking a step back, and when we take that step back for about a week or throughout July, when it comes to our values, we're going to have a guard up, because we've been through too much to just let this new person, and this could be an old person coming in as new. You can experience a new beginning with someone old. So I don't know who it is. For some of us, it's our exes. For some of us, it's new people that just have something to say. Some of us are extremely blocked against it, though. Like, extremely, there's boundaries and guards up, because we've been through a lot, but it's not like we're gonna like throw in the towel. Some of us are literally true warriors. And another thing here is that wait for the final battle, because the 9 of Wands is the final battle card. It comes up for people in readings who have to do something just one more time. Not that you're not going to have other boss characters that you have to fight. It's not just Bowser and Mario. We have all these other like characters and enemies, right? But with this specific battle, some of us have battled a lot with waiting. Some of us, patience is a battle, because we've waited long enough, 7 to 9 months for this, or, whatever it might be. I just feel like we're extremely on guard when it comes to love and emotion specifically, because of how long we've had to wait and anticipate something. And some of us see that as like a negative sign. But I do think it's wise to keep a guard up. And I think why is not necessarily, I was going to blame Sagittarius, but it's not necessarily just them. It's not Aries or Leo either. It's this archetype of players, pardon my French, but fuckboys, spontaneous, here for a good time, not a long time. Here for a good time, not a long time. Capricorn is interested in the long time, the long term. Are you going to be here 7 months from now, 9 months from now? Have you already been here for 7 years or 9 years? I don't know. But we have this like really flighty, unpredictable. This is not a Capricorn. Capricorn would never validate some kind of energy like this. This is not a part of the plan or future. But some of us have this archetype charging in. I see 4 people in all of our lives, whether they're a Pisces, a Sag, Aquarius, and another Pisces or not. I see a water sign, an air sign, and a fire sign. Or 2 people who have feelings, a person who doesn't give a shit, and someone who just wants to have sex. Like there's just something going on here. And also there's like, after we leave here tonight, people are going to start, this could be us or someone else, but there's this energy of like, go, spontaneity, charge in right now because I'm passionate about it right now. I'll be bored in 10 minutes. Like it's that kind of energy. And it's like, this is not here. I'm not going to ruin my investments for this like flighty good time. Like some of us might, like this new crush that we have a hookup with or whatever. Cool. While you wait, why not? You're in the waiting room metaphorically of life and the person next to you is like really hot. So like, all right, like you kiss or whatever. I'm not sure. It's just a metaphor, guys. And it could be literal, but there's a need to kind of like guard yourself against this flighty, unpredictable, non-committal person that just comes in and out to express on the worst time. It's the worst time because you're actually waiting on something else. And it's like this person texts or calls you and it doesn't even have to be romantic or sexual. It could be a friend or family member. It's an energy, an unpredictable energy while you're already fighting something else. You already, like, this is literally a battle. We have 2 nights here. This is one of the fastest nights. So we do have like at some point in the next week or so, really at any time in July, because I see the 7. And it is 7/7 today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So 7/9, July 9th, I see that now. By July 9th, there's this rushy, magushy energy coming in hot, and like you're almost uninterested in it, because you have bigger battles to fight. But just get ready for this Knight of Wands because he's coming in. This might be someone who's pissed off about, like, there's literally 3 energies here, and I am very confused as your tarot reader. I'm not afraid to admit it. Don't be afraid to be confused. Like, this is who would not be confused about all this? Like, there's so much being communicated, and literally the next card is the card of confusion. So we're right on the money. Apparently this is literally the vibe. Like, there's so many options. Another 7. I literally see 7/7 in July 9th too. Huh?
This is gonna be my quote at work for the week. I'm confused, I'm sorry.
And that's okay. This is a card of confusion, or a better way, because I'm a Pisces. Pisces rule confusion and delusion, and they rule this card as well. Another way to put that is overwhelmed emotion. Like, whenever you're confused, it's because you have feelings that contradict, right? So in this card, we've got all these options. Maybe some of them haven't arrived yet, but not all that glitters is gold. If you take a closer look at this card, some of them are filled with snakes. Some of it's filled with like money and luxury, and some of it's filled with poison. So I always say, if there were 7 cups on a table filled with water, and I told you to choose one to drink, but right before you choose one, I was like, oh, by the way, 3 of them have poison in it. You might take a step back and be like, okay, like, because water and poison look the same, but they have different effects. So think of these people, places, and things that are coming up as options, opportunities, circumstances. They're all going to make you feel different. And you can't have all of them. You can't sip and taste from every cup. But the worst thing to do with this card, while everything's flighty and everything is going on, is to just stay paralyzed. This is the card of option paralysis. Like, oh my God, even if it's just like, it doesn't matter if there are options of people, options of jobs. It's like, they're all going to make you feel differently, and you can't have it all, right? So just the worst thing to do is to not choose because you're overwhelmed. But I do see someone here who makes a really quick, spontaneous choice, and just get ready to defend that. That's all Capricorn cares about, is if you stand strong. I kept hearing that during the meditation. It's like, you know what you need to do. Do it. And it's like, Like, I guess I understand that, but like, it's like this vague energy or something like that. But this will pass. It's just Cancer season, maybe Leo season around like the 20th. But listen, I'm literally stopping because the Three of Cups, the Three of Swords, like some of us are reconciling. Some of us are gonna, this could just be like a friendship or like a sibling or something. I have 2 threes here, and that means that there are 3 people, places, and things that are involved in a scenario. Maybe not yet, but they're coming. I know some of y'all are like, not me. No, there's not. Yeah, there is gonna be like, there's a heartbreak, there's a breakup. I see a loss of a friend, maybe just separation from a friend. This is parties, celebration, gossip. Mm-hmm. And whenever you're like getting together with people, I mean, it's July. We have graduation parties. We have barbecues. We don't need an excuse right now to get out in the sun. Like, it's literally just the energy. So don't be surprised if you reconcile or reconnect in this way. But I see the Three of Swords. Yeah. So also someone listening, someone here tonight needs to know that there is a very attractive outside influence that is really fucking something up. Like, it is really messing something up. And it's just physical. It's literally just lust. They're very, very attractive. This is a woman, but it doesn't have to be. So we'll just say it's a side dude, right? It's a side, how the Urban Dictionary will be like, side chick, side dude, mistress, and whatever the male version of a mistress is. I don't know. Huh? Yeah, that's the only word a Casanova, womanizer, those kind of words, right? And I don't know if it's an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It doesn't matter, but it could potentially cause something else to break up. Or I do see a breakup and a reconciliation. I see a breakup of a friend, and then I see a deep heart-to-heart conversations with people coming back together. But there is 3, so whenever there's you and 2 other people, that's the universe harness. Please know that you're straight up on this timeline. Because even before I saw 3 people, right in the beginning, when I had the 2 cups and the queen, those are court cards. So there is, and also in this 5 of Swords, there's 3 people in this card. Even though 2 are hanging in the background and there's this other person thinking they're calling all the shots. So your head and your heart are not living on the same street right now. They're about to rejoice though. So heartbreak and sorrow and making head over heart decisions, what makes sense, what feels good. That's Capricorn, Cancer. Capricorn is like, plan for the future. Cancer's like, but it feels good. So like, there's all these different things going on, and you need to speak from your heart. And I also see friendship. Like, I know there's so much love, but there's something going on with friends too. Like a group of friends or something, like really having to have a heart-to-heart deep conversation. And some of us just feel like, and it might be a sibling too, sisterhood, whatever that is, like this rejoicing energy. But I do see a third party, someone that we haven't spoke to in a while. We had a missed opportunity with this person. No wonder we're so hot about it, right? Because all of us here tonight have somebody that could text us right now, and we would think about it. Like, we would consider it. And they're very attractive, but we didn't ever have like a solid, it's something that you deemed as a missed opportunity. Wrong time, wrong place, right person, wrong time, whatever the woeness is there. But they're coming back in. You haven't seen this person, talk to them in a week, a month, 4 years for some of us. You took a mental break from them. Some of y'all, it's literally a Sagittarius. That's why I'm getting kind of irritated. The Capricorn in me can't tolerate Sagittarius. Like, somebody's been spying on you since June 3rd. They haven't been bold enough. They don't have the gonads to hit you up, but they've been watching. They ain't said nothing yet, because they deem you as a missed opportunity too. Like, man, it's been 4 years. I'm not about to hit her fine ass up. Like, they're not confident enough yet. They're heartbroken. Somebody's heartbroken here, you or someone else. And then just get ready for those like really sexy third parties. And you might be that sexy third party and messing somebody else's relationship up. I don't know who I'm talking to here, but yeah, confusion will do it. That is literally what's going on, and it's all going to happen super fast. Keep your guard up. Pay attention to, what you've invested in, what you're getting in return, because that's part of the battle, is just continuously being this farmer, and no one even gives you lemonade for being out there and working, like metaphorically, like you're not rewarded for this. So by the end of the year, some of us, when it comes to these things that aren't paying off, the Capricorn in us, that Capricorn energy is going to place us in places that are actually a part of our future, that are actually good investments. But I have no idea why this would literally just be about like dumb old love. Like it bothers me, and a lot of us are gonna feel like that because we really just want to detach. But I have to tell you, and I hate it, but there's 2 new loves coming in, and that might be someone old, it might be someone new, it might be, I do see third parties a lot. No wonder we're gonna be freaking arguing. Like I wish I would have just talked to you guys about these 3 cards and let it go. Like maybe that's why it was. These 3 cards came out. I was at my desk and I said, what is the message for the Capricorn full moon? About 5-10 minutes went by. Finally, these 3 cards, maybe this is the Capricorn full moon message, guys, and we just went down a rabbit hole. Because it's like, yeah, that is literally the vibe, literally. Guys, listen, you don't want to be careful letting conflict mess up what you've worked for the past 9 years, because you're so close to the end of a cycle and you're so stable and content in your garden, but people are going to start, like, for lack of a better word, like penetrating your, maybe literal penetration, but like they're gonna start like penetrating your energy, and it, like, is your boundaries up or not? You know, because it's okay to like slightly entertain this, but just, you know, worst case scenario, an argument, and I'm cool with that. Like it's just gonna conflict some people. It might mess and make other people argue. These 2, maybe you have to be a mediator or something. Really, it's not gonna matter for another few weeks. So I feel like the 3rd week of July, maybe we'll know a little bit more about what's going on here. But that's it for that part of it.
It's not confusing anymore.
Yeah, hopefully. Sorry. I feel that way. I feel like we're going to get some clarity now. So each bowl represents something different. That's why I have this little chart here with these little like notes. I'm feeling inclined to start with the crown, even though it makes more sense. Like we're literally, whatever makes sense, we're not going that way, I guess. Like I don't know. I'm very surprised and taken aback by this, which I think we all will, depending on this message. So we're going to start with crown, which is our higher consciousness and our divine connection, our connection to what is divine. So to me, you know, I have no science to prove this. It's just my own understanding, and it helps me. We're aware of things at like a basic level. 4 + 4 is 8, right? But at a higher dimension, we're not aware of it yet, but we're aware of it in like our higher selves are aware of it. In a divine way, we're aware of it. It's hidden. So for me as a tarot reader, when cards, I don't know if anyone watched, but I let them fall out. And when they fall out in a personal reading, even for myself, for collective like now, it's an omen for me that whatever we're about to discuss is hidden from us. We could be hiding it. There could be some unknown. So we're going to chime that in with this message. Before I even get to it, because I'm actually a little scared to uncover it, we're going to chime in with the crown. So what would it mean if the crown chakra is like hidden, right? So it's hidden. Like our higher consciousness right now is hidden. Our divine connection is hidden. It's a secret. So to me, there's like this hidden energy, like we're not necessarily aware of it for some reason. And what that could mean in a very like, you know, basic way is that some of us are feeling disconnected from our guides or from our, you know, higher consciousness or whatever. But let's reveal it and keep in mind that there's something unknown here. And it's this freaking Page of Cups. It's literally the card that was like coming out at the beginning. So it's that love, right? It's weird because it's Pisces energy, which is spiritual. So the universe is trying to show us hidden synchronicities. Some of us have been seeing 333 straight up. 444, 1111 is a really big one too. 222, or you may have personal numbers that mean something to you, like someone's birthday, or like you just keep seeing 407 for some reason. Why is April 7th coming up? Like whatever it is, numbers, synchronicities, songs. The universe is getting really like poetic and creative. And even though we had a Capricorn full moon, it's not necessarily logic and sturdy in the plan. Like it wants to get a little bit crazy and cute with it too. But this is love. It's a new love. It's new feelings. It's fertility, not necessarily literally, even though I do have to say that. It can be a metaphorical fertility. Anything you touch grows. You're giving birth to something, right? It's something new. New feelings are coming in. New messages. It's feelings within us. It's feelings within others. It's because we're having a Cancer new moon on the 18th. So that's when we're really going to be able to listen to this back and be like, oh, yeah. So some of it makes sense now, right? But some of it is going to like come in the future too. So we have a divine connection in our crown chakra with this new lover, right? So that confusing person I was just talking about, these new loves, it's literally meant to be. Like there's a higher reason. Our consciousness depends on it. Like we're in love with somebody in a different dimension, and there's certain people on this realm and this plane that vibrate at those levels. So even though they're not necessarily that person from your past life, they're that person's dog or something, or they're just reincarnated. They're a piece of it. There we go. They're a piece of it. They mirror it in some way. Please know that there is a new love coming in that is in alignment with your higher consciousness, in alignment with your divine connection. That seems brief. That seems all right. Let's move to the third eye, which is purple, right? We have a few cards here. So this is, and now we're not hidden. We're not hidden for a minute here. So that lets me know that there's awareness for these next chakras. This is intuition we're going to talk about right here, your third eye. Foresight, which came up at the very beginning of the reading with that 3 of Wands looking out. And then your imagination being open, right? Which we really need right now because like this isn't making much sense. So let's get the cards. We have the Sun card coming out first. There's a few other ones with it. Leo energy immediately. Children, your inner child if you don't have children, your pets if you want to get real creative with it. But this is the most positive card in tarot. I'm very unbiased about it, but I've heard that throughout the years and I actually have come to agree with it. Like the sun is ultimate vibrancy, it's joy, it's vitality, it's you on fire, it's you connected to like literally the source of light. So we have intuition about what would make us happy right now. We have intuitive light, intuitive foresight. Like we can see, that's getting Capricorn for me. Like I was talking about that earlier, how we're able to see the future, it's getting more clear. So there's something here about our happiness. Like we know intuitively that doing this, that, and the third, like doing this or doing that, whatever it might be, we can see in foresight that it would be warmer there. It would be lighter there. We would be more in connection with our inner child, or it may have to do with children for some of us. Keep your imagination open because some of us have a hard time imagining ourselves this happy, this warm, this joyful because we've been dead inside for a while, right? For lack of a better way of putting that. But we know intuitively that this would make us happy. We also have the Queen of Cups, which is an individual. It doesn't have to be a woman. It does not have to be a water sign. But this is a Scorpio to me. This is a Pisces, a Cancer. It's Scorpio, first and foremost. And then just to get away from the gender and the zodiac sign, it's somebody who's incredibly mature, emotionally mature. They're very mature. They're very stable. They're very compassionate, smart enough to be by the water and not in it. So smart enough to dabble with emotions and help people out and feel things, but I'm not going to drown. You know, like careful with this Cancer energy because it can get very engulfing. It can get very manipulative. Feelings are temporary. I hate admitting that as a Pisces because I love feelings, right? I love emotion and everything, but I have strong earth energy to support me that reminds me that feelings are temporary. So I don't want to like fully invest on a feeling. I might not feel this way next Saturday. So we need emotional maturity. There's something here about happiness and love again. But I will say the Queen of Cups is the only tarot card in the whole entire deck among the cups that has a lid on her cup. So some of us, we are kind of closed off emotionally. And because of that, we pay a little bit more attention. We entertain other people's feelings when really the reason we're doing that is so we don't have to deal with ours. We deal with ours in private. We deal with ours in a mature way with those boundaries and that protection. And then I'm being reminded that it's very small detail, but there on each side of this cup, there are 2 like gargoyles. So I sometimes in personal readings when I'm sitting at my desk, I have like I don't have to like show like the crowd. So I'm able to really see it. And one time I did this and it made me feel like there were 2, they don't have to be dark. Maybe they're unknown, but just like the beginning of the reading, there are 2 people, 2 new loves, 2 feelings you have. If you can't resonate with it, it's 2 feelings you have. I love this person, but I don't like them. I love this person, but I love this person too. They're from my past, but this person's new. Whatever it might be, there are 2 factors as to why you have closed up emotionally. But you guys already know this intuitively, or you're going to come into the knowledge of it intuitively. And what I mean by that is when this finally comes to earth, when this is finally in the logical realm, you have that weird feeling of, I knew that, but I wasn't paying attention to it. Like it was this in the back of your mind, like, so it happens and you're not completely surprised. That's intuition. It's like you can't really remember when you dreamt about it or when that synchronicity or that song played on the radio, but it's that eerie feeling of this has happened before, or the universe gave me a thought to prepare me for this, to the point where when it happens and it actually transpires, you don't have that like wow elemental of surprise, that element of surprise. You don't have that entirely. It's because of the third eye chakra, right? So there's something here about happiness, emotional stability. we're kind of on edge about opening up emotionally. Some of us would rather just be at home and just isolate and reflect. This is Virgo. We have a straight up Virgo. I see Leo, Virgo, Scorpio. I don't always get time frames, but with that Leo energy, it is July 20th, July 21st. That's when Leo comes in. Get ready, because that's dramatic, that's ego, that's bold communication, but it's happy, it's joy, it's creativity, it's pleasure. Not a bad sign, not a bad zodiac season, but it's definitely a fire sign for a reason. And we have lots of Leo energy right now. And then I'm seeing the Leo Virgo cusp, which is another straight up time period, which we're getting blessed with that because of all the communication, or because of all the confusion, maybe communication as well. But that would be August 17th to August 25th is an extreme, important, very clear, without a doubt time frame. For some reason, we know something is going to happen. We have the weird feeling. So that's another thing too, is our feelings, the more private we're getting, the more isolative and reflective and wise that we're getting emotionally. It's like we're starting to be able to like kind of know when things are going to happen, or we're connected to our intuition a little bit more. So we intuitively know that by August 17th, August 27th, something's going to happen, or some kind of like light is going to be shined on something. We're going to be a lot happier then, you know, after we come out of this like reflective state. And again, we do have Virgo, Leo, Scorpio for some reason. So that's intuitive. Whenever I deal with this chakra, I don't really like overly explain, because it's the card, it's the bowl for intuition. So we already kind of know this foresight, you know, and then the open imagination part kind of throws me sometimes, but it never hurts to like keep your imagination open, because it's connected to your intuition, what you can imagine for yourself intuitively, that kind of thing. But there's something coming that is going to provoke us to open that lid a little bit, let them in a little bit. But remember the first part of the reading where you kind of want to stay intelligent about it. You kind of want to like detach a little bit and keep the facts and stuff straight, because this confusion energy we felt tonight and that I've felt, we're going to be feeling that independently and as individuals differently, right? But let's move here. We're going to move to the throat chakra. It's blue. This is our ability to speak, communicate clearly. And we have cards that are revealed. So there is something clear and upfront about this. And I immediately see a phone call. So we have the communication bowl. And then this judgment card to me is a calling. It's a calling. Now we get way deeper with this. To me, it's a phone call, just because like, you know, the communication for sure. Phone call for sure. And I don't talk on the phone, but it's a phone call. So communicating on the phone. Someone here is waiting on a phone call. But let's talk about the deeper meaning, right? The judgment card, it's Pluto energy. It's literally Archangel Gabriel, like playing, I don't really know like the biblical, but you know, this angel played a trumpet and woke everybody up, I guess, and literally people out of their graves though. So when I get this card, it's a second chance. It's forgiveness. It's zombie energy, because there's people that you thought were dead, gone and buried, that are going to resurrect for a second chance. This may be you, dead in other people's lives, and you're resurfacing. But it's like your higher calling. So, and this is our thoughts and our communication. So some of us are going to need to say something again. Some of us are going to need to like resurrect certain things that were said, certain things that were done. We have like these things from the past coming back up. And some of us have been thinking about the past. Some of us have people from the past that we need to speak to, that we need to communicate very clearly with for some reason. I don't know if it's a boundary thing. And we have a reoccurring card here. This came up at the beginning. We have the Seven of Pentacles. So this phone call, this communication is linked to July. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about that farmer, remember? And the, are you in debt? Are you in profit? Have you wasted your time? Has time well paid off? Well, there's something resurrecting. It's like, I don't know why I just heard you got duped. Like, because you really thought something was this, but it's like, whoa, like I didn't know. There was something we overlooked or something. And it's like, it's kind of like when you're going a certain way and you have a certain plan, but then something resurrects from the past or something. And so now you're looking at it in a different way a little bit when it comes to your investments. Because this is waiting again. This is like taking a step back from the past though. And it's going to come back. And it's like, now what if that bush has roses now though? What if it was bare before? So you left it alone. There was a missed opportunity. You left it alone, right? Breakup, whatever it was. But now that there's been this call and this awakening, now that bush is a little bit more metaphorically fruitful. And you're like, so someone from your past has improved. Someone from your past has changed a little bit. Like, you know, I don't drink anymore, like whatever it might be, what they changed. So they're coming back, whether they actually call you or not, but it's people, places, and things that you thought were dead. So we really did think one of our investments were shit. So we stopped investing, literal investment, like money, like $70, $700, $7,000, whatever it is. And it resurrects as more fruitful now. So there's something in the past that we were working on that we walked away from, a project, a hobby. I don't know what it was. We never thought we'd do it again, though. And now all of a sudden it's a part of our higher purpose. Now all of a sudden it's a part of our inner calling. And they always say, answer the call when this card comes up, because it's literally like resurrection, like rebirth energy. But there's fears involved here with Scorpio, the Pluto, like facing your fears so that you're empowered. And it's the ability to speak. So some of us have a higher calling and a purpose to speak, but we've been kind of hanging back because we don't feel like our words are valued. So there's something here like wait for that second chance. There's some kind of investment here with rebirth and something going on. We may revisit that, but since it's the throw, I'll leave it alone because that's our mind and our ability. So those details will come forward. But we'll move to the heart, and then maybe we'll return to that. And I almost heard beckon, if it beckons me. So something's going on here. Maybe it's because the moon's in Pisces tonight, and we're not far away from the full moon, but the full moon happened July 3rd. It's the 7th now. So now trying to speak as this Capricorn full moon, we have this Pisces illusion we have to get through. But use that as an omen, right? Like, when it comes to things in your past, if it beckons you, return to it. Because that's literally what I was about to do as your tarot reader, is move forward. And if that beckons me again, I'll come back to it. So everything's a metaphor. Everything's like an omen or a sign or symbol for something. But we will move to the heart chakra. I feel good about this one. As I was shuffling, it came out very strong. And sometimes the cards come out sloppy and confusing. But when one solid card comes out, maybe that's what it is. Except we did have this one, but it was hidden. This one came out right up. And this is our love. It's green energy, self-love, relationships, Page of Pentacles. This is Capricorn verbatim. This is talking about a new opportunity, a new investment. It's like someone who just found money. Like, oh, I just found this new skill, or like I just found this. But the thing is it's very small. It's a small offer. So this will be like $100 or $1,000, and not to put a number on it. It's a new value that you find, a new skill. The thing is, though, in the background of this card, we have on one side a very blank field, right, representing that seed. Every tree starts out as a seed, and then it grows into an oak or a birch or whatever it is. And then on the other side, there's this like orchard, right? So when I get this card, this is not going to happen. This is definitely Capricorn. It's not going to happen overnight. Like, you have to nurture this seed again and again and again. Whatever work you put into it is what's going to come out. And remember, this is our heart. So there's a seed being planted in our heart. There's something that's going to allow us we have new value for self-love. Everybody here tonight. That is one thing about Capricorn is I don't want to say it's self-value because that's Taurus, but Capricorn is like self-initiation. Like I'm beyond value. I value myself so much I have a plan. I value myself so much that I have consistency and persistency, because it can't just start and stop at value. It's like, what are you going to do with that? But again, with the love thing, because this is the love chakra, it's the heart chakra. And we have someone who's going to apologize. We have someone who has a small offer. This could be a business relationship. This could be your relationship with money, your relationship with a certain skill. But for love and relationships, I would say with the Page of Pentacles, this is definitely an individual. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. It's someone a little bit younger in age. I didn't mention that, but we definitely have like age and fluctuations. Like with the Pages, that's someone who's, and if they're not literally younger, they're younger minded. They're young. They don't have, they're not grown to their full potential yet. So this is literally my seed card, and I feel the most comfortable saying that there's seeds being planted in our heart. This is going to lead us to love. This is going to grow by December, but it is an offer of love. And as your tarot reader, when I say that, I can't shake this feeling of like, I don't want that. Like, it's gross. Like, and that's not me. It's like the energy, right? But they're coming. There's all these offers coming in, right? And it is a little bit about money too, but I can't get away from the fact that this is, for one, an apology straight up. And somebody might give you like a little measly gift or something like that. I don't know if they're from your past or if they're just someone who's wants your good gracious back. But it's like, here's this, rock that I found outside. It reminded me of you. Like, you value it a little bit, but it's like they have really fucked you over so many times. It's like, if you come back into my life under this Capricorn cycle, and we got to the rest of 2023 for me to feel these Capricorn energies subconsciously. If you come back into my life and waste my time, or you come back into my life when I have $9,000, you're offering me 10. I have all this. I literally have a garden, and you want to offer me a rose. Like, I don't mean to be so mean, but it's that kind of energy. It was like, you better be coming with something I need, want, don't have. Like, add to my life. Don't come in just because you're bored and lonely or horny or whatever it is. You better have worked on yourself. You better love yourself. Do not come into my life, if you're like, don't even have any skills, you're not even worth a damn. These are like, I just call them muggles or peasants, like whatever they are. They're people you've grown beyond, right? It's not that you don't love them, Cancer. Like, Cancer loves them. Cancer's going to forgive them. But Capricorn's like, you don't even got a job. Like, you don't even have any goals. Like, you're not a part of my plan. So I'm feeling annoyed as your tarot reader now. I'm feeling very skeptical, and like an inconvenience is what you are. You're inconvenient. You're not irrelevant, but like, you're a hindrance. Like, I did not expect you to just like, now I'm seeing a car on the road that's driving and someone just cuts you off. Like, that might happen literally, but I'm being shown that because you're just cruising down, listening to your favorite song, and then this motherfucker is like cruising into your life, whether they're new or not. Like, love can be an inconvenience. These new feelings can be an inconvenience. It's unexpected, and it's like, damn, like, you better be worth it. Then that's where I'm going to leave that, because that feels literally on the head of the nail. Like, you better be worth it. And remember, this could be you and how other people are feeling about you, or it could be other people in your life. Let's move on to yellow energy. We do have some hidden. It was weird, like some cards came out and then more fell out. So this is solar plexus. We just have 2 more after this, guys. And this is our self-esteem, pleasure, willpower, responsibility. This is a little bit highlighted right now because of that Capricorn energy of willpower, definitely Capricorn, responsibility, definitely Capricorn. So we'll just start with the card that did reveal itself, which is the 10 of Swords. And we'll just take a brief look here. So self-esteem, pleasure, willpower, and responsibility. It is your responsibility to let things end. It's your responsibility to get the hell up after you've been hurt. I know you've been hurt 10 times. You've been stabbed in the back, betrayed. This is rock bottom. It's a scary card or whatever, but really it's the light at the end of the tunnel. So what people say, or what I say when this card comes up, is that it's an ending to something that has been painful. Some people are like, oh, this is a painful ending. But if you really look into it, it's the end of something painful. So it can go either way, but there is that light, see all this darkness, and there's like this person that is literally rock bottom, like bare minimum. They could easily stay there and let themselves die, or they could take one of those swords out of their back and use it for clarity. That's all you need, is a thought. All you need is a thought to get up, right? And not like be victim or just let this. So you have the willpower to get up. You need to have the self-esteem, because like when you get hurt or in pain, like, and it's not just relationships, like friends can hurt you, family can hurt you, losing a job can hurt you, starting over can hurt you, like anything can hurt you. Responsibility can hurt you. Remember what I said earlier about responsibility ending? This is the tarot card reiterating that. You're no longer responsible for a person that wants to stay on the ground. It's like, oh, I'm just so hurt, or oh, this has happened to me, right? Well, do you want to see your way out of it, or you want the story to end like this, right? So I do see that as well. Like, our self-esteem is extremely affected by the pain that we've been in, by the betrayal. When we go through endings, it can be hard to be confident because it's like so unsure, right? Like an ending can completely deroot a structure. Like you had all of this like figured out and now it's over. So it's like, okay, where was the rug underneath my feet? Now I'm like stumbled and tripped out. But I will say, like, there's definitely going to be something that was painful, that was in the way of your self-esteem, that's getting out of the way. Let's look at the cards that came out with it. It's a secret. It's not shown to me. So it's going to tell me more. It's the 2 of Swords. It is the Emperor and the 6 of Cups. So when it comes to this ending, right, we know this is self-esteem, pleasure. Somebody here gets pleasure out of hurting people too. I don't want to overlook that. They become more self-confident at someone else's demise. That's disgusting. So there's people in our life like that literally need to be removed immediately. But we have the Two of Swords. Let's talk about this first. So there's this indecision. Do I let this end or do I revive it? That's that. I knew I'd come back to you. I knew I would come back to that. Because it's like, do I let there's something that has ended, and I've seen this before too. It's like you have the ability to breathe life back into somebody or something. They need you. You do not need them. Because you're higher than them. And it's not even like it's not to not be humble. It's facts. It's straight up. People vibrate at different levels, and somebody who's on the ground like that isn't capable of making a clear decision like you are, right? I don't know if this person just got kicked out. They went through some woes in their life, right? Like they've taken an L recently, and the last time they remember being happy was with you, right? So let's keep this what it is. There's a difficult decision here, an indecision. It's super difficult, and I always say wait to the new moon to make this decision. And you know what else I always say is 2 weeks, because it's the Two of Swords. And guess what's in 2 weeks? A new moon. So July 18th, and also when the moon is smiling, when you look up and it's like, oh, the Cheshire Cat, like, oh, the moon is in crescent form, it's smiling. You're going to look up into the sky at some point between now and the next 2 weeks, maybe 2 days after the full moon. You're going to be like, oh my God, that girl at that reading was talking about the moon's going to be smiling. And you're at that point in your life, you're going to have a huge decision to make. And it's very difficult. It's not one that you're going to be able to make with your eyes open. You see this lady, she has a blindfold on her eye. So she is forced to intuitively make a gut instinct decision. Fine. So this is also about the past, okay? That's what it is. We'll chime in with the chakra, because I done forgot anyways with this solar plexus. Really, there's someone coming back from the past that acts as a stalemate, crossroads. What's the other word for it? Stalemate, crossroads, roadblock. Like, that's the Two of Swords. 2 weeks, things are going to not move forward. But this is children too. I've seen it. 2 children, 3 children, whatever it is, more or less, 1, I don't know. Your inner child, memories. Some of you guys, there's memories. Maybe someone's remembering you and thinking of you or something, and it's really acting as a like a block. In 2 weeks, there's at least one person coming back from your past. I declare it. Like, I literally don't want it, but I see it. Like, they're coming back. There's going to be, and this doesn't have to be a lover. It's like, oh, wow, I went to 8th grade with you. Hey, like you might bump into someone at the store. Please know that's an omen for the universe. When they keep, you see little people from your past, and then all of a sudden you're in your hometown or whatever it might be. And then we have the Emperor with this message, which is Aries energy, an Aries child. This is also father figure, which I've avoided literally so much lately. But Capricorn is father. So your father figures in your life, whatever it might be, or male authority, your boss. But there's something here. Okay, there's something going on. Remember, this Ten of Swords came up. So something ended in the past. You have painful memories. But listen, someone's coming back. This nostalgic blast from the past. 6 months ago, super important right now. So 6 months ago, it was January. How you started this year, how you end this year. Some kind of decision you made at the beginning of the year, and now it's resurrecting for you to do it again. But this is all about making decisions with authority and making them with yourself in mind. Do not make decisions with just other people in mind, especially if they weren't here for a while and now they're back, and it's like, are you really going to even decide what you're eating tonight based off of them? No, don't. It's memories. So like making decisions based off of memories is extremely dangerous right now, because that's no longer a reality. It's a dream. It's woulda, coulda, shoulda energy. So you have something to decide about your past. Just do it with integrity, please. Do it with boldness. It's a decision about a man, straight up. It literally involves a man. It might involve an Aries. I see Scorpio here too with the 6 of Cups. That's Scorpio, Aries to me. And then one last thing I'll do is with this 2 of Swords, I always pay attention to the swords. So I don't know if this is the right side, but we have an Aries or an Emperor on one side, right? And we have the 6 of Cups. So we literally have ourself and our identity, the empires we're running, which we all here tonight have different empires we're running. So the decision is between the past and who we are now. The decision is between our kids and our baby daddy. The decision is between our childhood and our father, who our father was when we were a kid. The decisions is between, some of us work with children. Maybe not, I don't think they're here tonight. I think they're listening later. But we have these children and this like teacher or this authority figure. You're split. You can't choose both, right? Like, and that's another thing is when the 2 of Swords comes up, I'll show you guys one more time. There are 2 things that are true that are crossing each other. So I always say the truth can only be crossed by that which is also true. That's why this lady's fucking stuck. Because it's like, damn, like, that Aries is true, but my past is true too. My father is true, but my children are true too. My baby daddy or this, that. So, like, yeah, you're going to have to give yourself 2 weeks. Thank God we don't have to do this until 2 weeks. We have until the new moon in Cancer. But the new moon in Cancer, by then, we have this authority, and it's like, and then I also, thanks, whatever's helping me, I'm so thankful. But remember what you chose. I could have left it there and started there. Remember what you chose. Remember your decisions that you made. And I heard that in the meditation. Make your decision and stand on it. Remember what you chose. And you know what? That doesn't mean choose it again. It doesn't mean like, oh, well, I chose red last time. Let me just choose red again. Like, no, you might choose blue. So what I'm saying is you may not choose in the same way because guess what? You're not the same person. Who you are has changed. But just for some reason, there's something here about remembering what you chose before. 6 months ago, someone's 6 years old, 6 months, whatever it might be. 6 years ago, 6 years from now, 6 months from now. The decisions we make right now are going to affect January 2024. And then I just want to say, you know, with the self-esteem and the willpower, you have the willpower and the self-esteem to choose right now. It's just this past memory, children energy, whatever it might be, all of the above, none of the above. It's affecting our decisions. And there's also someone here who wasn't able to choose in their childhood because their father was absent, gone, too much of a factor. I don't know. Is there something you couldn't decide for yourself when you were 6 or when you were younger? And now you're able to decide. Do not let men choose for you also. I just heard that. Like, there's this man here that, like, chooses everything for somebody. Don't. And it doesn't have to be a man. It could be arrogance, masculine. There's women that act this way. Don't let your boss decide for you, okay? There's something there. But we'll just leave it at self-esteem and pleasure because we're going to get to these last two. So the sacral is what we're moving on to. It's orange, and this is creative and sexual, maybe. It don't look that way, though, because we have the Knight of Pentacles. This is Virgo to me. We've had Virgo. So Virgo season coming up in about a month and a half is important, like August 20th to September 20th. But this is Capricorn energy, slow and steady. So what I see is, like, with the sexual energy, be very careful jumping right in and having sex with someone, even if you had sex with them before. Even if you know, oh, years ago we had sex, or, you know, for some of us, this is just sex in general. I don't care if you're married to somebody. Slow down and, like, don't give away your sexual energy because there's strong worth. This is dependable energy. It's consistent. I love saying this about this card because it kind of sums it up. This is the type of person that measures something 6 times but only cuts it once, right? So they're very precise. They're very on key. They're very, like, stable, sturdy. It's a very slow knight, though. This is called a statue, actually. So we saw those other cards where the knight was, like, rushing in, Sagittarius energy. This knight moves so slow, hour to hour, day to day, that you look back and think he hasn't moved, but he's made hella progress. He's making true progress. And one thing else is that this is the only knight that shows up with what he was talking about. These other knights, oh yeah, I got this love, I got this passion, I got these words. But once they finally arrive, it's not exactly how they were selling it. This knight shows exactly up because he doesn't move fast. So the thing he has in his hand, he's able to move slow, and it's in one piece when he arrives. So this could be a financial message. And then I'm kind of thrown here because it's creative and sexual, right? That's our sacral chakra. And it came out verbatim. And this wasn't an accident like, oh, maybe it's this card, maybe it's not. No, it was this card, just like this one. I'm the most sure, believe it or not, about these two because of how the cards came out. The other ones are, like, a little weird. So get creative, but move slowly creative forward. And also sexually, too, right? Like, there's someone here that's boring and, like, you're kind of overlooking them. I don't know if they're in your life or not. By chance, they have Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn energy. They're kind of boring, right? Even sex with them might be boring. But there's something to that. Like, the person that you have not had sex with or that you've, you know, been slow about, they're actually, like, a really good option or something. Or maybe there's something here about money and messages. Money wants to move forward when it's on a horse, too. This is a quest for value. So some of us are just more so focused on that. And the creative and the sexual are kind of getting dulled out, right? So blame it on the fact of, like, self-respect, or I just don't want to move so fast. I don't want to jump in and have sex. Or for some of us that are partnered, it's like, you know, I don't really feel like it right now. I'm focused on my day-to-day routine. So that's another thing, is with this card, it's routine, the mundane. There's another word for it, like, I don't know if it's meticulous or just like frustrating things that we have to do every day. And it's like, by the end of the day, we're not like creative or sexual. I don't want to color. I don't want to have sex. So the main thing I'm feeling with this, though, is to move slowly with someone sexually. I don't care if they're your husband, wife, you've been dating for years. Slow down on the sex. And I think some of us already have. It's like, what do you mean I ain't been having it? But then someone here listening has been having way too much of it. They're probably that third thing or whatever, or meddling energy. But there is an advice here to be very slow sexually. Maybe literal. Maybe someone's too fast or something, or like too horny. Like, slow down. Get creative with it. Get passionate with it. Like, like literally just like chill a little bit. So that one's interesting there.
I love you.
I would also say like a creative project, some kind of creative skill that we're going to harness, just because I feel bad about that one. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, let's move on. So we'll say that as well. There's a creative skill. It's going to take some time to learn it, but it's promising financially though. But the sexual, I only have that to say. Like, just the slowness. Some of us need to have a little bit more self-respect. And then having sex with a Virgo, having sex daily, our sexual routine, ritual, whatever. So we have one last one. This one is very Capricorn. Capricorn rules the root chakra. So this is red energy, and it is safety, security, stability, our foundation. It's hidden. I find it extremely weird. We had some hidden ones here, but on either side of me, crown, root, it was unknown, hidden. So let's reveal it. There's something unknown about our root. We're not really sure where we're safe right now. We're not really sure where our security derives from. We're not really sure about stability, and our foundation is very unknown. What is it? Wow. It's the Chariot. So we literally have Capricorn's opposite. So you know what? That's literally a Cancer new moon, because this is dark. The new moon is when you don't see a moon in the sky. So again, I'm seeing July 18th. There's something going on there. This is about our vehicles. It's about travel. It's about our obstacles. It's about mentally harnessing things that are in our way without having, because like this is like a dune buggy or whatever you want to call it, like a buggy and horse. But the guy who's driving it doesn't have those reins. He's doing it with his free will. He's doing it with his mental capacity. So this is a card for victory and excelling forward fast. So I don't have logical proof at all tonight for you guys. Sometimes I can harness that and feel good and sleep at night. This reading, this full moon, there is no 4 + 4 is 8. There is no but I feel that it's the right message though. And it's because the moon's in Pisces. I feel that this is the right message. So please take that away from tonight. Even if you don't have logical freaking receipts, facts, and numbers, your intuition is enough, right? So we're moving forward towards a place of safety, but we're also moving forward towards a place of the unknown. We have no idea where we're going. Somebody's just going to get in their car and drive somewhere. I don't know if it's rando nodding. That's coming up. I never did that, but it was this thing where you could randomly coordinate and go somewhere. That's metaphorical. Just go. There's some kind of unknown destination, and your security is there. Your stability is there. Your foundation's there. That's what we're all going to achieve. We're going to be very victorious. But again, that's me trying to reach and get that logic back. I don't have anything to prove that. I'm just saying it because I have the knowledge. But what I feel as your tarot reader is the Cancer new moon. I feel like there's something rooted there. Cancer rules the roots. Cancer rules where you're from, your past, your mother, your maternal energy, and Capricorn is the exact opposite. So go towards your safety, even if it's dark. Go towards your security, your stability. Your vehicle's important here. Someone's car, someone could be traveling, and that is literally all I have. But July 18th, that's what I feel. Everything else is not BS, what I'm telling you, but I have to reach for it. But what's right here, as far as the message, is the Cancer new moon. Maybe we need to re-listen to this around July 18th. I have it on that calendar. I think it's the 18th. It might be the 17th. But I'm pretty sure. So 2 weeks from now, guys, these messages will make a lot more sense.